Hi guys, welcome to Crazy Burger. So in this video we're going to be looking at the Spectrum and updating the firmware. Amazingly there is a firmware update already. It's not really a major one, but in this video I'll show you how to do the Spectrum firmware update, and also we'll go over maybe the manual that's been added to Amazon. I'll show you that as well, amongst a few other things. Anyway guys, let's get stuck into the video. Okay guys, before we jump into the actual firmware updating, on Amazon, Retro Games have actually added the user manual if you're interested. It does seem a little pricey. The hardcover version is $29.99 and the paperback version is $12.99. So it really is there if you want to purchase it. Now the one I got with the sort of press box is really nice. It is actually very handy. Although if you don't want to pay it, you can actually just download it from the Retro Games website themselves. And just use that as a sort of PDF copy on your phone or your laptop or something. So you don't necessarily need to. It's just a nice to have thing. But if you're interested, I will leave a link in the description if you want to look at that. Anyway, guys, also wanted to touch on the sort of micro drive USB mini stick. Sadly, that is currently out of stock, but there might be some due next week. Now, if it does become available again, I'll sort of let you guys know about it. There may be some again next week, but yeah, this is a nice to have thing. It's really just something that would finish off your Spectrum perfectly, but it's not a necessity, but it would be quite nice. It does look very cool. Now, interestingly, in this actual shop, there is a lot of other sort of gaming things, devices. There's even sort of a t-shirts, there's the joystick there, so there's a few C64 things that are not really appropriate for Spectrum fans, but anyway, there are some nice t-shirts there if you're interested. The prices do seem pretty nice. Okay guys, so let's have a look at the Spectrum firmware update. Now you have to go to, so let's just click on Discover Spectrum. I will leave the link in the description, and you go to the support. Now the manual that I'm talking about, there is a section here, you can go into the manual. There's a section about the games as well. If you want to know what the controls are, you want to know a little bit more about the games, this is located here. But for the firmware update, you go to support, and there is a update the Spectrum firmware option, and here it is here. So there is an update. It's available. I think it's really just updating a few things. Improves the virtual cassette navigation of .tap files. I don't think there's improves saving files to USB stick from classic mode. See the manual chapter 11, saving programs and data for full details. So there's not a lot of changes. Now I wouldn't expect there to be too many firmware updates. I think Retro Games have certainly honed these sort of consoles to almost perfection, but I'm pretty sure there will be requested changes. Maybe there'll be a lot of fans out there that will get their hands on this and make some requests that aren't actually included, and they'll probably thusly provide some firmware updates. They might even do a firmware update that will add some more games to the actual carousel. I've seen them do that a few times with the previous minis as well. But anyway, what you need to do is make sure you've got your USB stick, which has already been flashed and obviously formatted correctly for your Spectrum, and then put this into the laptop that you're using, or your PC, whatever you're using to sort of download this update. So you scroll down and download the actual update. Just click download. Probably a little bit more complicated than it should be, and that's the file there. So as it says there, copy the firmware onto the root directory of the USB stick. Don't place it into a folder, just place it directly onto the USB stick, and then once you plug it into the Spectrum, it should automatically pick it up. But I think you actually have to go to Options, Advanced Options, and System Information, and then that. So what we'll do first is we'll get this onto the USB stick, and then we'll go through the second part of the update. Okay, once you've downloaded it, it will go to your downloads section, and you can then drag it to wherever you feel you want to keep it, and then obviously get your USB stick added to the PC or laptop, and then drag that onto the USB stick. Do not place it into any folder, just place it as it is onto the USB stick. As you can see at the bottom there, it is now added. Obviously I've got tons of sort of games in here as well. And obviously it does create a CFG file. Any game that you go into and make changes to, it will create a sort of config file. Obviously that takes note of whatever changes you've made, then we'll remember it for the next time you actually play the game. It's whatever settings you make to the controls, that type of thing. Anyway guys, let's get this USB stick now added to the Spectrum, and we'll show you what to do from that section onwards. So get your USB stick plugged into the back of the Spectrum. Make sure it's the one next to the HDMI socket at the back, and ideally take other peripherals out of the actual machine, and then go to menu options at the bottom there, and then go to advanced options, and then choose the system information, and then it should automatically pick up there's a latest firmware installed on the USB stick, and then just update and it will install, and then reboot your machine with the latest firmware. So this is Crazy Burger Extra. I'm going to show you how to create A to Z folders quickly on your PC, or then you can obviously move it onto your USB stick without having to manually add all these folders, because it is quite a painstaking task to actually do. So what I would do is create yourself a folder on your laptop somewhere, or whatever it is you're using, your PC, and then we can go ahead and create those folders quickly. Now what to do is obviously take note of the actual path and copy it at the top there, and then go into your search function and put in CMD for the command prompt, and then choose that, and then this will pop up here. But obviously first thing we need to do is type in CD, then press space, then paste in the user or the address bar that we just copied, and then you're good to go. So at this point all you need to do is type in MD and then list all the folders, and obviously put a space afterwards. So if you obviously want to do A to Z, you would just keep doing this with a space. Obviously if you know your alphabet, that would be quite handy. Now this is obviously a lot quicker than sort of typing these out manually. It is quite a slow, painful process. I hope I don't miss a letter here. Now with the Spectrum USB stick, you might want to create other folders, because if you've got thousands and thousands of games, I think the file size will be limited to 256 lines, so you might want to create even more folders sort of within that as well. But anyway guys, this is how to do it. If you press enter, that will then create that folder set on that address that we've got there. So if I close this down now, you'll see we now have A to Z folders where we asked it to be pasted, and that's quite handy. So then all you need to do is go and paste all your sort of files into the retrospective folders, and then you can put that onto your USB stick. Anyway guys, that's just a quick tip if you want to try and save a little bit of time. Anyway guys, thanks very much for watching our video. There will be a lot more videos on the Spectrum. I'm going to play through all the games as well in the next sort of video. It might be just a first look rather than an in-depth look, because having 48 games, it's going to take some time to actually go through. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. Catch you again next one. Bye for now.